I use she, her pronouns. And I am going into my second year of college at ISU. Is there anything else? I'm sorry, I was trying to get my charger together.
Anything around your excitement of seeing the show for the very first time? So please have not seen the show, y'all, that we just watched it together with you.
I loved everything about it. Like, it was so much more than what I thought it was gonna be, and it's like the first time I'm watching myself perform instead of like doing it on stage, and I think that's like the most unique part about it, and I just loved it so much.
Yes, and I just want to say that Rachel is also our artistic fellow this summer. So she was a part of our staff as well as the teen ensemble. This is her third year here. So thanks, Rachel. And MAKALAH.
Okay, I'm MAKALAH Simpson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm going into my sophomore year of high school. And I really enjoyed just being able to view the show that we all created together with the audience. I feel like it was just such a great experience, and it really made me proud of how hard we all worked, including Jenny Lynn, because she edited it all together. And yeah.
Thanks, MAKALAH. DALENCIA.
Hey guys, I'm so excited about this show. My name is DALENCIA. I use she, her pronouns. I go to DRW College Prep. That's at Home and Square. And I feel like my excitement really just revolves around sharing it and putting the energy out there. Like we said multiple times, we just wanted to have conversations that needed to be had and that are important to have with your family, with yourself, with your friends. And I think I'm just so excited to see everything that come together and to hear you guys' questions and to see what people got from it and what they learned, or, you know, if they just, you know, comments, anything. So I'm excited.
Thanks, DALENCIA. DEVONTAE.
My name is DEVONTAE QUINN. I go to Westinghouse College Prep. I use he, him, his. What I was excited about during the thing was, like, I like to see the whole thing together. It was nice. I like how it flowed and stuff.
Yes. TRINITY.
Hi, I'm TRINITY. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am going into my freshman year of high school at Hanover Central High School, and I really enjoyed reading the comments, like on the YouTube video. I don't know if anybody did that. I really liked reading the comments, and thank you so much, Jenny Lynn, for putting this all together for us.
Beautiful. Thanks, TRINITY. Was there a favorite comment?
Right before it started, someone was like, the bathrooms are great.
Excellent. Love it. Andrea.
Hello, my name is Andrea GARCIA. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm currently going to a transition program for like living for people with disabilities. And then I will transfer over to probably Columbia College. But what I liked about the show is that everybody was included, and it just touches on a lot of social issues that are really important in today's society, especially with the pandemic going on. And this is so new to me. And thank you so much to Jenny Lynn for like helping us come up with a show to present to you guys. And yeah.
Ew. Coffee.
I'm Coffee. I use he and his pronouns. I was just excited seeing it all together. It's amazing how Jean Lynn edited it all together. To see how she edited it all together, seeing it all together, it's like how I feel like he was able to state what each of our messages was supposed to be.
Yes, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Alexandra.
Hello, you guys. My name is Alexandra MORA. I go to Lincoln North Star. I'm in my last year of high school. For me, watching everything put all together was wonderful for me. And also working with each and one of you guys was everything to me. And I was like so grateful that to get the opportunity because like, I don't know, I'm overwhelmed. It was happy seeing like each and one of you guys and getting to work with you guys since I'm far away from you guys. And yeah.
Yes, we are so happy that you were able to be a part this year. And I think a part of that is because we were virtual. Alexandra is from Chicago, but she currently lives in Nebraska. And this was a way, so she has been with us all the way in Nebraska for the last 6 weeks. So thank you, Alexandra. We couldn't imagine going through this journey without you. Yes. I cannot go any further without also taking a moment to just introduce the team that works alongside me, as well as Rachel. Oh, and Andrea, I did not mention. So we have 2 students who are part of our teen ensemble, as well as a valuable voice within our leadership team. That is Rachel, who is our artistic fellow. Just give us a little wave. And Andrea, who is our ensemble intern. Give them some love. These roles are 4 past members, alumni of Timeline South. Both Rachel and Andrea have been with us since the very beginning, since the inaugural summer of Timeline South. So it's such a beautiful summer to see them rise as leaders and really lead their ensemble this summer. So thanks, Andrea and Rachel. And alongside them, we have 3 teaching artists that are all in the same room together. Amber, will you introduce yourself and tell us what you did this summer?
Hi, my name is Amber Montgomery. I was the acting ensemble teaching artist this summer. This is my 2nd year with Timeline South.
Hey, I'm Levi. I was design and tech TA for the summer. This is my 2nd summer teaching and my 3rd summer with Timeline South.
Hello, my name is AIROS. I use they, them pronouns. This is my 2nd year with Timeline South, and I did like the movement and chant song. I was there.
We all wear many hats, but those are focuses this summer.
Yes. Any words from y'all about seeing the show for the first time?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think it was just really, I was just telling Eros this, a really wonderful representation of all the things, literally from week 1, that the students cared about and really wanted to say. And it was just so, having it via Zoom was just such a great opportunity to have the students rewatch performances and exercises that they've done and pull from things that we recorded and really make something that was like full and just really representative of everything that we'd done together. So I was just really proud to watch it with them.
It is beautiful. Y'all did a wonderful job, and I'm excited to have it to be able to go back to it and or share it with folks who couldn't be here tonight. So that feels really exciting and special in a different kind of way than last year.
Yeah. Anything? I want to say to the reach. So we got so many people got to see it and get to experience the talk back with us, which in other cases usually happens one night on one day in the summer. So the fact that we can reach people virtually and so many people get to see this, and it's gonna stay on Timeline's website for a little bit longer so people can watch it over time, is also really special for all the work that we all and Tiffany and the students and Jenny Lynn and everyone put into this. So that's also makes it really worthwhile.
Thank you. I seriously need everyone here to know that there's no way that I could have ever done this without those three really being here and being a part of this ensemble. This is an ensemble effort. We work together as two ensembles moving together. And I realized, FALISA has to step away. But when she comes back, we will get an intro from FALISA, which is our wellness coach. This was the very first summer that we also had a wellness instructor with us who was able to offer weekly one-on-one sessions with students if they needed anything as far as just wellness and in that way. And also that they could also, she's on site with us every day. So when she's on site with us every day, if there's ever a moment we're talking about really deep topics, and I don't think that we should stray away from saying that in this moment, that these teenagers do not stray away from the really hard things. But sometimes what happens when we really tackle the hard things is that it becomes hard on us as the artists to really do the work. And FALISA's role has been essential with being alongside us and helping us to stay well and to take care of ourselves while we tackle such complicated and complex conversations. So just want to say that, and when she comes back, we'll have a chance to officially meet her. In the meantime, I know y'all got some questions. Y'all want to ask them. So I want to turn it over to our audience and allow for a few questions in the chat. Jenny Lynn and Laura, if you could also help me with managing that, that would be wonderful. But yes, any questions for our teams about the process, their work, or a comment or a statement for them?
Okay, I have a comment.
Yes.
My name's Maureen. I've been hanging around Timeline for many years and have dear friends there. It was wonderful to see your performance. I was very moved throughout. And I will point out this evidence because at some point I started madly taking notes of writing down things that the actors were saying because I wanted to remember them and I wanted to share them with my young adult children and their friends. And I thought it was just so full of emotion and thought and hopes for the future that it was truly inspiring. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Maureen. We love that you've been around and taking notes. I think that is just something that we want to talk about because that was actually one of our big questions and something that we tackled in this piece was how do we get folks to like really take notice or really want to learn more and lean in. You have no clue how much that meant to just hear you say like, I want to share your words with my students and the people, my community. So thank you. We have a question from Kristen. Do you still get stage fright when you perform virtually? Do you still get stage fright when you perform virtually? Anybody want to take this?
I'll speak on that. Well, I was always like a very super shy, like actor, like theater kid, like most, and I've always been super theatrical, but then when people get to watching, that's when it's like, oh no, maybe I don't want to, express my personality all the way. So I feel like I've definitely still had the nervousness, but just being able to say, okay, well, that was take one, let's take two. And then also the comfortability and, being able to be vulnerable with our ensemble, you know, we really made each other comfortable. You know, I felt so, you know, loved, and I felt heard and accepted to where it was like, you know, it's trial and error where we have to learn. We're gonna be a little nervous at first. We might trip over our words, but it's about learning, taking, you know, learning from your mistakes and taking from, well, that take was good, but you probably got a little pulled off at the end. Less, you know, so I feel like it's definitely still a nervousness and, you know, a want to do well, but I feel like it was pretty comfortable and we were able to, you know, express ourselves fully.
I wouldn't say that I was nervous, but it was weird talking to my phone instead of an actual person. So I had to, you know, think of my scene partner as my phone. So it was just hard to do.
Yeah, I remember filming, or when we were filming my monologue part, and I remember them saying, like, make sure, like, you're looking at your screen because you want to connect with the audience. And I'm like, I look at my screen, and I'm only looking at myself, and I'm like, okay, I'll try my best. And I think in those moments is where I got a little bit nervous because I'm like, I'm talking to myself right now because I'm looking at myself. But is it like, I know what I'm trying to say. Does this get through to the audience the same way it does for me? And I think that was kind of like where the nervous part goes. And that was just really hard to, like, not really hard. It was a challenge for me to look at a screen and not like at this open audience and state the things that I needed to say. So.
Great. I'm going to move us to the next question. It seems like some folks have some questions around our process and how we actually created this. Let's start with how we even came up with our topic. Does anyone want to talk about that?
I feel like I talk too much. I'll go ahead. We had a set of questions. And first of all, Freddie came in. I saw Freddie. Hey, Freddie. Freddie came in and helped us kind of like hone in on what we want to talk about. What is it? Because everybody represents different things. Everybody had different topics. Bring up so much feeling and emotion expressed in this show that, you know, it was so many moving parts to it, and we kind of just had to hone in. And one of our questions was, why do we act like it doesn't exist? And we had to really define that it. We really had to say, what is it that you're trying to say? And not all together, but what is it that you want to say? And once we got the parts where it was like, okay, well, I know I want to talk about love. I know I want to talk about racism. I know I want to talk about discrimination. How can we pull it together and make it a full conversation, a round table of everybody saying, this is how I felt. These are my struggles. These are the things I've been through. And to come together and bring it into a whole piece where it's understood, like, hey, we've all been through something, but we can talk about it and we can bring attention to it. I feel like that was kind of our process on understanding what we were trying to say and then combining all of our different stories into one full story. So, yeah.
Another thing that I really discovered from Freddie was the different types of, like, how would you say it? Presentations you can do around theater, like participatory, virtual, I guess how we did it, or even in a theater. And I really enjoyed the movements. I think the movements really helped us with the development of our topics and how do we embody them as people dealing with these sorts of issues, and also how can we display it in a way where you are being educated, but not only you are seeing it from a different point of view. So I just really thought that was great.
And I don't want to put Freddie on blast, but because he was here and we've mentioned them, I do want to just take a moment to talk about another very special aspect of our program, which is inviting guest artists into our space. Again, that's something we really embrace collaboration. That is one of our words that we introduce. We have words of the day. Each day we do a word of the day, and collaboration is always one within like the first couple weeks, because that is what this process is about: collaborating, learning from each other, bridging the gap between generations, cultures, communities, is what we do. And Freddie is a very near and dear special guest artist for us. One that they were a teaching artist with us last summer. So hi, Freddie. And they were so wonderful to come in this summer and really help us as far as writing and really thinking about different mediums that we can play with in this virtual world. We didn't know what we wanted to do at first. We didn't know if we were going to do a reading, if we were going to do a dance, or what we were going to do. And me and Freddie, we worked together and we went through all of the things that they were talking about. How can we make this something? Freddie, we thank you for what you have given us to this process. So thanks, Freddie. And more about the process. Someone wants to know about our spirit world. How did the spirit world come about? What did that mean? And I'll read the question. I lost it. It was somewhere up here. Okay. From Jessamine. Hi, Jess. Can young people talk about what led them to the creation of 3 characters? Yes. Spirit world. We'd love to hear from Trinity or DEVONTAE.
So in the spirit world scene or scenes, you get to meet the 3 people, and they represent a different situation. We all know E represents the bad, Isaiah represents healing, and Rose represents love. So when I thought about, when we thought about that, it was like something stupid. Like I said something about, I was talking about like villains in the world or something about that, and it was like, and everyone has, and I thought like everybody has one, but also there's a hero too. So I was like, everybody has that, but then I heard the love poem that DALENCIA did, and I was like, everybody has like love in themselves too. So, and then Trinity was talking about healing, all that jazz, like that. Everyone has to heal or has good in them. So it's like, it makes sense if they like they expect that. Never mind.
But I guess
I want to bring up something that DEVONTAE and DALENCIA said when we were creating that scene, those spiritual worlds kind of together. And DEVONTAE had this great idea that it was really important in this story to create like an obstacle for all of these it's that all of the students were talking about, because the thing that makes it difficult to talk about and fight for these things and create spaces of healing and justice are these voices in the back of our heads, are our grandmothers that, you know, are a little bit more jaded about the things that we have energy for. And I know the question was asked, were they ancestors or were they gods, or like, were they these spiritual beings? And DALENCIA said a really cool thing on one of our first days working with on it was, I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Inside Out, but instead of being these like omniscient beings, the youth wanted them to represent the feelings and the voices inside of us. And sometimes love is talking to us loudest, and sometimes healing is, you know, what's pulling us the most, and sometimes it's the villain or the E character that DEVONTAE completely like brought into this world. And I think it made everything that the youth was saying so much more effective. So I just want to lift that up as well.
I guess I'll speak on that as well. I feel like something that was important when creating these 3 beings is like Amber said, I didn't want it to be to where it was like these gods or these like beings that you could never reach. I just wanted them, we really wanted them to be tangible. And, you know, because these are emotions that we feel all the time. We feel like, man, I'm not going to keep talking about this. It's not changing. You know, then you have your moments where you're like,
well, you know, it's important. We have to spread love. We have to come to these times where you're just like, I'm growing, I'm getting over it. You know what I mean? So I feel like to have those different emotions, and you know, everybody, if you watch it, everybody was going through a different thing where they were experiencing those different emotions at times, or where they're experiencing love, whether they were healing, whether they were hurting, they were experiencing those things. And I feel like that's important to have these, you know, what would love represent? What would love look like to you? What does your happiest moment, what would you draw that out to be? What world would that be in? So I feel like that's kind of where we were going with the thought process of the spirit.
Thank you so much for sharing. FALISA, are you back?
You can hear me.
Yes, FALISA, we did not get your intro. FALISA is our wellness coach. FALISA, would you like to just introduce yourself, names, pronouns, and any reactions from seeing the show for the first time, or your experience here at Timeline South for the very first summer?
Yes, hello everyone. I am FALISA. She, her, hers pronouns. And gosh, what can I say? This was an amazing experience with Timeline South and the entire ensemble. I have learned so much. I never realized, oh, my phone.
Oh, no. Y'all get to see our day in real time though, y'all. This is virtual learning. Welcome. Okay.
The internet never took it easy on us.
Sometimes we have tech issues, but we keep going. In that light, while FALISA hopefully is making her way back to us, the question came up earlier around from Janet. How was it like to actually express your emotions and put it somewhere where folks can see? These poems were very personal. All of your writings. Anybody want to speak to that?
I'll go. It felt great to use my voice, because when this whole thing started happening with the protest, I didn't know how to express myself, and I wanted to support the movement and everything, but I couldn't because of Corona. So I felt like this really gave me a way to speak my mind and still be safe about it.
I think for the poem that me and Alexandra did, it was, I guess, something that I've never written about. Like, I've always had it like in the back of my mind that as Hispanic people, that's something we struggle with, is mental health being like taboo and something we don't discuss. And it was really different to do, but I really enjoyed doing it. And I guess it's also to spread more awareness towards the issue. So I really enjoyed it, and it was a new experience, and I loved it.
For me, it was like a wonderful experience, because like in a way I had to, like, I shown something that was really going through right now, and like not a lot of people speak about it. So like I feel like it gave more information and like more hope for people to know that they're not alone, and that there's people struggling like the same issue going on with them. So I feel like it was wonderful. Each piece was meant something to everyone, and like that's what made it so special for each and one of us.
Yeah, and I just want to say that it was so exciting to just like give voice to these problems that need to be discussed. And yeah, I was really excited to just put it in the show, because that's what it's about, and it needs to be heard. And I think also Timeline helps me to do that as well. So getting my voice out there, putting these powerful words and pieces into the world just feels really like liberating. And I'm so glad that I always get to come here and do that. So I think that's the best part of, you know, being here.
I throw a word on top of that. I agree with you, Rachel. I feel like it was so easy to be vulnerable, because it was a safe space, and it was, and it was because it was safe to, express that and get those feelings out. The importance of having somebody else hear that was, for me more important than, being nervous or, not really sure how people would take it. It's once I had that group of people around me that were supporting me and like, this message is important, you need to share it, it just became easier and easier to get the message out there.
Beautiful. And I just want to uplift in this moment because I keep hearing folks say, right, that it's a safe space, wellness, and I just want to speak to that. I think one of the thing that this summer that was the most heartbreaking was that we could not be in a building together, that we couldn't be in a physical space together. However, we tried our best to create what we called our virtual space and create safety and comfort within it. We did that with a few different things. One, by creating personal land acknowledgements, missing the South Side or being in our community because we're all spread out everywhere. A big part was making sure that we really keep the community aspect of Timeline South by thinking about that every day. So when we check in, we say our names, we say a phrase that feels like it's personal to us and where we're from, just to embrace that moment of community. We created self-care corners. Some folks might have saw that online. We did a tour blog. If you haven't, it's on YouTube, so check it out, of them going through. And that is just us creating a space in our own little home where if we need a moment to just take a breath or breathe, that we can step away and look out a window or light a candle or be with our plant or talk to it. And we also had a breath word where we actually can call sunflower. Sunflower was our word for this summer. For any moment, at any point, anyone can say sunflower. And it just means that we stop and we take a collective breath together. Let's try it together right now. Sunflower. And that's just to share a few of the things that we do together to create this safe space and work. So with that, let's take one last question. And before we do that, I just want to take a moment to really speak to Anita and David, who I think are here with us right now. I can't see on all of the pages, but this program would not be able to happen without our amazing sponsors, Anita and David, saying this. So we thank you so much in honor of their son who passed away, who also believed in folks following their dreams. And they have sponsored this program both last year and this year. And so we say thank you for allowing us to have the space to create the art that we want to make. So thank you, Anita and David. And in the world of sponsoring futures and thinking about our futures and next steps, I'll leave us with the last question. I lost it, so I'm sorry that I don't know who it was from, but there was a question around film and stage being very different, and has it changed your interest around what you would want to do for your future? And so I'm gonna open this up. Each student will end off with a spotlight as we did before, and I would love for you to share what you would like to be doing in your future. Are you interested in acting on stage? Do you have a new love for film now? Or is there something else you want to be doing? You want to be a wellness coach like FALISA? Let us know, right? What are your aspirations? And this will be our last moment of the day. Alexandra.
Okay, so for me, it was a really nice experience, and it was new. Everything was new to me because, like, I always wanted to do theater class and stuff like that, but like never gotten the chance. And since it's my last senior year, like I want to like do it now, like now that I have a little bit of know what is it a little bit, and like I got my interested more in it. But I think I'm gonna stay going with becoming a lawyer.
Thank you, Alexandra. Trinity.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time and like doing theater, and I will probably continue to do it. But for my future, I am going to be a surgeon.
Thanks, Trinity. Rachel.
Oh, yeah, every year I love working with Timeline. It's always such a great experience. And I'm so even though, pandemic, whatever, I'm so grateful to have like this experience of theater as well. Because I know when Tiffany called me like, you're artistic fellow. I'm like, okay, but how are we about to act on stage? And she's like, we'll make it work. But yeah, Tiffany really like sparked my love for theater. And before that, I didn't know what I really wanted to do. And she came in and she saw like my potential, and I am like so forever grateful for that. And I love you, Tiffany, so much. But I think I want to do theater somewhere in my life for sure.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. You are. I said I was going to get away with not being crying because we were virtual, and we'll see about that.
My voice is cracking. I had to cut on mute.
Makala.
I always wanted to go into theater, and I knew it was going to be different because I had never actually been on a stage. I've never acted in person with someone, and I feel like it was a good learning experience to just do this virtually and like have my first experience be something completely unique, and I just really enjoyed it. And I want to pursue theater as one of my hobbies along with art, but I really want to go into zoology and veterinarian. I want to be a veterinarian. I love animals.
Thanks, Makala. Coffee.
I'm not completely 100% sure what I want to do in the future, but I've always loved acting, and I'm thinking about doing acting in the future, or voice acting, acting on the stage, or something in science or law. Yes, I always had a high love for acting, and I feel like Tiffany helped cultivate that, help more better my love in acting, even outside of Timeline.
Thanks, Coffee. Dalencia.
Sorry, so dark, guys. Hearing everybody's answers has been so inspiring to me because I feel like I'm a senior now. And I feel like now is my time when I'm like, okay, girl, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do with all these classes, all of these clubs and stuff? And something that has always been constant for me since about maybe like towards the end of my freshman year is theater. I've always come back to it in some way, whether it's, working on my public speaking, whether it's poetry, whether it's speech or movement. Theater has always been something that I full circle came right back to. I think life is trying to tell me something. I've been in so many different situations. I've been on so many different stages, and been to so many auditions. So just to see things working out for me, that continues to light my fire for theater. I love it. I always have. I've always been theatrical and extra dramatic. So I feel like that's probably where I'm gonna have my life going. I love psychology as well. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you. Yeah, I just feel like these things that I'm learning and the things that I'm going through, they're all gonna lead to me in my future, some way, somehow, being able to get my word out there. And I just enjoy, talking to people and expressing feelings that I feel like, need to be expressed, having conversations that I feel like need to be had. And whatever creative way that I can do that, I will do that. So that's what my future is going to be like.
So can you come back to me for a minute? I need to say something.
Yes. Andrea.
I don't know where to begin, but Like Rachel said, when I received Tiffany's call, I would like you to be our ensemble intern, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't see myself as a leader, but in a way, it was like preparing me, and I love helping people, so I was so excited that I got the chance to do that. And like Rachel says, Tiffany is really inspiring, and she's somebody I look up to. She's direct, and she knows what she wants, and she's just a wonderful person. And being able to be a part of the program for almost 3 years is amazing. And I thank you for all the ensemble and the teaching artists for giving me this chance and being able to grow and learn each year. So yeah, I'm just so grateful.
Thank you. Y'all trying it. I'm trying to keep it together. Devontae, you ready?
Yeah, I think I would like to do acting and stuff like that because, I mean, I basically, my whole life is basically around it. All I do is just watch TV and like act the scenes out in my head because I get too excited. So I have to like reenact it or something like that. And yeah, I like it a lot, actually. It makes I be able to make stuff, which is pretty cool. You get to see my own stuff on the TV and all that jazz. I like to put little hidden messages in my own work. If people catch it, if they get it or not. And that's pretty cool. That can all just be me. So yeah.
Thank you, Devontae. Let's give love to the Timeline South Ensemble, y'all. And in the lasting words or moments, I just want to give my own personal thanks as folks share with me in this moment of how much I've been a support to them. I just want to take a moment to really uplift and thank a person who's been the mentor for me, and that is Juliet Hart, who is our education director. Juliet, thank you so much for just believing in me, believing in this program and all of these students. We are so grateful. So thank you so much. Thank you to all of you for being here tonight. The conversation does not end, although we're ending here today. Let's keep it going by thinking about what can we do next? How can we actually take action? We've heard the things that the students have to say. Let's get to work. Thanks, y'all.
We love you, Tiffany.
We love you.
Thank you for everything.
Love you.